This is Kaiju Addict, hopefully for the final take on this, because there's literally been 40 takes of this video. This is the MonsterArts Godzilla 2004/Godzilla Final Wars. This is your 2025 reissue version. You can tell it's the 2025 reissue version because it's a blue Bandai label and a small Tamashii Nations quality sticker. That's funny. The other ones, there's a red Bandai logo, and then there's one with a big silver sticker with a blue Bandai label. That's how you tell the three different versions. This is the one that you're going to get for retail. The other two, probably not. And at least I don't think so. The U.S. market normally, when a reissue comes out, doesn't bring down the market because people would rather just sit there and wait for 5 years to try to get 160 out of a $100 figure rather than selling it for 140 sooner because, I don't know, not my choices. There's some good changes and some really not great changes with this reissue version. You can tell right off the bat that the body and the dorsals are darker, and the toenails and the fingernails, they're darker. I like this. I like that the figure is a darker gray. I like it. Or almost a black now at this point, where the original one was like a lighter-ish gray, and then kind of almost had like a blue-ish hue to it. It probably just my eyes not working. You guys know I can't tell color differences, shades and tones the best. I've just got bad eyes. I'll eventually be colorblind, so I can't wait for reviews when I'm colorblind, right? But then there's this. At a distance, it looks almost natural, but up close, I don't know why they decided to do that. It's still better than a movie Monster Series figure because at least it's painted, but God, barely. And the other thing that's really, really wrong with this version compared to my original 2021-2022 version is the joint tolerances on mine are ridiculous. As an example. Oh, wow. I didn't put almost any pressure on it. I pushed it forward and it actually didn't go. And then I just slightly pushed it out and it popped out. Why? Because this ball joint is super tight. And as you can see, it looks like that might be cracked. That might just be a mold line. Whatever it is, it doesn't want to stay in. And as you can see when I'm moving it, it juts because there's something wrong with the sizing of the cavity for the ball joint, for the barbell, and the actual ball. So it doesn't actually want to like go straight out. It wants to force itself into an extreme corner, and it makes it impossible to pose this figure without popping it off and fixing that barbell joint and then putting back on, which I've owned this figure since June. It doesn't bother me as much as it originally did. It doesn't. There is a bit of cope to that in this. But the other thing with it is I really, really wanted a Final Wars MonsterArts Godzilla back in my collection. And this isn't quite what I was hoping for. I was hoping it would be a little bit better in joint tolerance. And like the eyes are a little weird. They're not too bad. They're both just mainly looking up. This one's pupil is really small, and this one's really, it's thin, but it looks wider because of the molding in the eyes. So he kind of looks like he's roaring and angry here, and he kind of looks, you know, stern and sullen here. So like you point him down and he looks, well, besides that jaw joint, it looks pretty good, okay? Different angles make the eyes look really good. Some angles don't look great. But, I mean, my original one wasn't perfect either. So to sit here and pretend that my first one was like the bee's knees of quality control compared to this would be a slight, you know, a fib. But as I said, I am coping a little bit because this is the third best articulated Godzilla in the MonsterArts line. It's up there with Godzilla 1972 and Evolved Godzilla. And since getting those figures, getting this figure back has been one of my goals because they all articulate crazy. They can do the Sentai Kamen Rider Ultraman poses, and they can do crazy, like, not suitmation poses. And having, like, 2 of them or 3 of them all posed together doing crazy, you know, poses and, like, Dragon Ball poses is what I've wanted. I've just wanted fun Godzilla figures to articulate that aren't CGI model or, you know, lore accurate, kind of like something like -1. And it's taken me a long time to be okay with some of the joint issues because I know I can predominantly not fix, but I can tweak them to where they won't be as bad. Should I have to do that for a $100 figure? Probably not. But at the same time, as I've always said, I would rather these joints fall apart and fall to pieces than break. I would rather it fall apart than break. And I realize the big debate is, with a $100 figure, should this thing be at risk of falling apart or breaking? No and no. But they still happen, you know? We get X Plus figures, spiral figures, Easy Hobby figures that come in broken. It happens. Whether it's shipping or just assembly line misses, it happens. Not as much with the Easy Hobby or an X Plus, but it does typically happen. And with MonsterArts, probably the third or fourth most mass-produced Godzilla figure on the market, regrettably, it's going to happen. It shouldn't happen as much as it does, but it does happen. Which brings me to my point of, do I recommend this? And while I'm recommending this, I'm going to show some figures that have come out since this figure has come out and since I've sold my original one, like the -1. I've never had -1 and Final Wars next to each other. And they look super cool, by the way. It's hard to recommend this. If you guys are your standard MonsterArts, Godzilla Final Wars collectors, you do want the MonsterArts in your MonsterArts collection or your articulated collection, but you don't need it right now. This reissue will be on the market for a while in the US, and because it got here before the tariffs and duties all took place, this should go on sale because companies aren't going to lose as much money on it because they're not paying duties and tariffs and other things and shipping delays. So I would assume that in a few months, this should see a sale during Black Friday. If you absolutely don't need this figure right now, if you haven't already bought it, wait until it's on sale, okay? If you know that you're going to buy this, wait until it's on sale. If you're a collector, maybe you're predominantly Haya, or maybe you're not an articulated guy, and you're thinking about getting this figure, but you're very on the fence of it at $100, and you think, if this thing sold for $70, and you're still on the fence with it, just don't buy it then. I think at this point, there's so much available on the market that if there's something, even if it's on sale and you don't think you can justify the cost, or if you think you won't like it, just don't buy it, okay? That's my recommendation. That's going to be my recommendation going forward as long as this channel is alive, is if a sale price doesn't interest you, you're probably not going to like it, and buying it is going to cause you more frustration and more stress, so I just recommend not buying it. Okay. The reissue version is great for collectors like me and like many of you who don't have the Final Wars Godzilla and you don't want to spend $200 on it. And that's fine. For the people that want it, they need it, get it. If you're on the fence, if you're not over 80% like, yes, I want it, wait till it's on sale. And if that sale price doesn't do it for you, wait for Haya or wait for one of these other articulated Godzilla lines to release it, and I think you will be happier. Me personally, I am still happy enough with this reissue version that I don't want to throw it against the wall anymore. I've grown to love it and appreciate it. I'm glad I just have it in my collection, which is kind of an outlook I'm going to have from now on, due to all the real life stuff that's been going on, and now tariffs making collecting hard again, and expensive. It's way more expensive. MonsterArts aftermarket buying is already expensive, and it's something that's not fun because the eBay prices are insane. They're way worse than buying something at Mandarake in Japan or even getting it shipped from Mandarake. So I'm just thankful that I was able to get this when I did. And just like I'm very, even though it was accidental, it was supposed to be canceled and I still got charged for it, and I can't cancel it now. So I'm still getting it earlier than I expected to, or the Burning Godzilla 70th anniversary version should be here next week. So yeah. I'm thankful for the figures that I have in these two figures specifically. I'm very thankful to have these in my collection, and that's the outlook I'm going to be going for. I'm still going to be pointing out all the bad things with these MonsterArts because there's always going to be bad things because none of these figures are perfect, especially MonsterArts, and that's a-okay because at the end of the day, it's my money that I'm spending, and so far, I don't regret any of it. So that's it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll be back soon. See you guys later. Be patient. Wait for a deal. Bye, guys. You know, as Steven would say or something. I don't know.